Let me take you there on today's Lynette Faye show, and it's approaching 16 minutes to 4. It's Tuesday afternoon, and last night Love Island returned to our screens. It's the 8th series, I think. I've watched it once. This year, though, the series is coupling up with sustainable fashion. So you'll see contestants wearing second-hand clothes, which cannot be instantly and precisely replicated. So we can only wait and see what impact that might have on the world of fast fashion. But many local businesses have bought into the sustainable fashion market with dress hiring and pre-worn clothes and sustainable fashion becoming more and more popular. And Naimh Bennett started a TAMS last year. It's an online shop which promotes sustainable fashion. And she's on the line now to tell me all about it. Hello to you, Naimh. And how are you? Hello, Naimh. How are you doing? How's it going, Naimh? So we're talking about ethical and sustainable fashion. I suppose they're all buzzwords at this point, bandied about, but what do they really mean?
Well, ethical and sustainable fashion, as you say, they're buzzwords, and they have such a wide range of meanings, and it means something different to everybody. But the way I kind of see sustainable fashion, it's like a way of enjoying fashion that can be sustained over a long period of time. So if you think about the fast fashion business model, it's producing lots of cheap clothing at a very...
Naimh, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to get you on a better phone line. We just can't hear you there very, very well on that line. So Naimh is joining us, Naimh Bennett, this afternoon. She's got a sustainable fashion brand, and we want to talk about the words sustainable and ethical and what they do really mean, and how we can make better choices when we are buying clothes in order to make sure that they are more sustainable and ethical. And I suppose as well we want to know how this could be measured and checked as well. Naimh, I think we have you back on the line. You were just saying about sustainable choices there. So what does it mean for sustainable fashion? Just give us a recap on what you said there.
So I was just saying there that I kind of see ethical and sustainable fashion as a way of enjoying fashion that can be sustained over a long period of time. So if you think about the fast fashion business model, that is producing loads of cheap clothing at a very fast pace, and it will go to landfill almost as quick. It's not typically well made, and so for many reasons, that's a way of producing clothing that we can't keep up over the long term. So sustainable fashion is about sort of the opposite of that.
So is it about the quality of the material, and then it's also about our choices in what we buy? Because sometimes and I suppose it's just become part of it has been a fashion and a culture over the last number of years to impulse buy and to buy things that we might only wear once. So we is it up to the consumer as well to really have a think about what they need in their wardrobes?
Yeah, exactly. I think, yes, while fast fashion is a business model, it's also a mindset, I think. So the best thing that you can do is to buy less and buy better. So say if you have, I don't know, £100 in a month to spend on clothing, instead of going and splurging all in Primark, like think about what you really need and maybe buy one or two items that are a bit more expensive that are going to last you a long period of time, and that you're going to get wear out of them because you've had a real good think about what you really need, like the gaps in your wardrobe and things like that. It's also about kind of elongating the life of your clothing, so looking after what you do have, like mending it, repairing it. If your sister needs to borrow it, let her borrow it.
That's a call to I don't know about that. That's controversial in a lot of houses. letting the sister wear the clothes.
On mine. A lot of stuff has never come back.
I don't know about that. That relegates a lot of tops and a lot of clothes. But even with dress hiring as it come as well, do you find that more people are asking about or inquiring about hiring dresses, say for weddings or for functions and things like that, because they don't want to be buying a dress that they're only going to wear once?
Yeah, well, I haven't had inquiries about it personally, because I don't really sell that kind of occasion wear, but I have, since I've started in this space, I have noticed a massive amount of interest in the area, and lots of little companies. There's some locally, some stores I've seen pop up in like Craigavon and Newry and things that are hiring out occasion dresses, and even online. There's so much more interest on it. I personally have actually just hired a dress for a wedding recently, and it was a great success. So, I have seen a lot of that recently as well.
There you go. And you're not afraid of the same dress turning up in the photos for social media. You can hire a different one next time. I'm interested what you said, buy less and buy better. It's a great mantra to have. So how can you make sure that you're buying better? What do you need to keep in mind when you're buying better?
Well, if we think about sustainable clothing brands versus, I don't know if you've heard the term greenwashing before.
Yes.
So it's where, I guess, especially fast fashion giants like Zara and things, they make all these claims about having conscious lines or whatever, but we would call that greenwashing, because they're not really making it the core.
We just need to be careful there. There's a lot of stores doing that. It's not just one or two. It's in general. What is greenwashing? So what I would say to get around it, you kind of can look out for, do a bit of research on the website. If you like the clothing on the website, go and have a nosy round. What we talk about is transparency. If they truly are sustainable, then they should be having everything, all that laid out on their website. They shouldn't be afraid to tell you exactly where the clothes came from the sourcing of the fabrics to the conditions that their workers in the factories are working under. You can look for internationally recognised certifications like UN Sustainable Development Goals, B Corp certifications, Fair Trade, all these certifications that you might not be familiar with them, but you can look them up online, and they shouldn't be afraid to detail all that on their website. And if they don't, it's a bit of a red flag, but you can go, and if you really feel inclined, you can email the company and start asking them, because it's good to hold them accountable as well. Yeah, so are you finding that people are taking their clothes purchases that seriously, that they are doing that amount of research?
Some people are really interested in it. They don't always have to, I think, because companies are very good at promoting it as well. And again, you do have to look out for greenwashing, but as long as you kind of know generally what you're looking out for, like I referred to some international certifications before, and they usually companies who are legit in their efforts are making that well known on their website and on their social media and things as well. So you don't normally have to do a mad amount of research, but if you're concerned, I would say more so that a brand isn't sustainable and that's something that's a concern for you, then you can go and do that extra research as well. So I've seen more and more people being interested in it recently. So how are cottoning on.
How have you found your way into this type of fashion, Naimh?
It's just something that has been interesting me for a while. I would say over the last number of years, I guess you've seen in the media all these reports of, sweatshops collapsing and things, and lots of, all those things that we've heard over the last number of years, and it just, I couldn't ignore it any longer. It started to annoy me, and then eventually, one New Year, I made a resolution to give up fast fashion, and so I found it quite hard actually to find companies out there that stock them, like truly sustainable clothing. So I thought, well, I might like to do this. I might like to have a go at it myself. So you had to go and find stockists for sustainable clothing, and was there much work involved in that, or did it come quite easily to you? There's so many brands out there that do it, but they're such small brands, and it is a bit of work and a bit of research to find them.
I'd say so.
It is, and then also one of the things you have to think about is the air miles where your clothes coming from, and there's loads of brands in the likes of Australia, the States, like non-European brands are doing a really good job sustainably, but is it a good idea to fly them halfway across the world? Because that kind of defeats the purpose. So, you know, it is a bit of work, but that's kind of why I wanted to start it up, because I knew it was such hard work and I wanted to try and make it easier for other people.
So what do you make of this idea from Love Island? You know, it's one of the most popular television series for the last number of years. It appeals to a target audience of, I think, teenagers, 20-somethings, maybe people in their 30s as well. And they're moving away from fast fashion and promoting sustainability on this series. How do you think that will play out?
Well, whenever I first heard about it, I thought that it was a brilliant idea. I thought that it's a great way to remove kind of the fear and the stigma around wearing second-hand clothes, which I know some people don't like that idea.
Yeah.
But it kind of normalises it, which is like a massive step forward, I guess. But yeah, I think it can't do any harm. Although I have seen opposing arguments as well now since the news is broken, and they're all perfectly legitimate. But I think as well it's going to help people to think about actually selling their own clothes on instead of just like kind of mindlessly like chucking them in the bin or throwing them to a charity shop. You know, they can actually sell their clothes on eBay and make a bit of money as well. So that's going to increase the selection of that kind of clothing on those resale platforms too. Do
you think it also promotes individuality again? Because for so long you just copied whatever you saw someone wearing on TV. You just went online and found it and bought it because you liked it. Whereas now, if you see someone wearing an item of clothing on Love Island, for example, you won't be able to just go online and find it because it is secondhand and it's pre-worn.
I know, but you're right. It will make people be a bit more creative again. Like, I personally sometimes follow celebrities and I think, oh, I like that outfit. Let's see how I can make that out of my own wardrobe. You know, so, but it's not exactly the same, but it still looks great and it's your take on it. You're not just clicking a button and getting the exact same look. You're kind of, you know, it is your individual style as well, you know, so.
Yeah, and so it's all about ideas, and it's a lot cheaper, and as we say, a lot better for the environment as well. Naimh, lovely to talk to you this afternoon. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. That's Naimh Bennett from TAMS Online. You can go to tamsonline.co.uk for more information on Naimh, and you can find her on Instagram and on Facebook.